Every day you feel many different emotions like happiness, sadness, anger, and even when you feel nothing at all, that's also an emotion. We often don't think much about our emotions, but they really do affect both our bodies and our minds. Controlling our emotions can be very hard without help. In this summary of Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Meurisse, you will learn why it's important to understand your emotions. Why is it so hard not to feel sad or upset? You will find out how to look at your emotions in a better way. This will help you feel less of the bad emotions. Remember, emotions are not your enemies. They are helpers that can make you grow into a stronger and happier person. Let's find out how to make friends with your emotions and use them to be happier in life. How your survival mechanism affects your emotions. Your life today is vastly different from the lives of your ancestors. You don't need to hunt animals in the wild for food because you can easily buy it from the market. You don't need to hide from or fear animals because they can't invade your home and hunt you. Despite these changes, you still possess a survival mechanism that hasn't disappeared. When you are in danger, this mechanism gives you the energy to flee. The same mechanism also tends to remember negative events more than positive ones. In your ancestors' time, negative events often had dangerous consequences. For instance, if a tribe rejected you, your chances of survival significantly decreased because who would protect you from animal attacks and share their food with you? Even today, negative events cause emotional distress even if there is no life-threatening danger. When your boss scolds you, it still feels bad. You still feel sad when your friend stops talking to you. This negativity bias helped our ancestors survive, but it doesn't help you much today. If your boss criticizes your work or your friend stops talking to you, it won't be a matter of life and death. However, emotional pain is something that causes us discomfort. To avoid this discomfort and stay happy, you need to actively fight against the negativity bias. Being happy can significantly improve your life. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter released in your brain when you engage in certain behaviors like eating good food. This neurotransmitter reaches your pleasure center, making you feel happy. Since dopamine makes people feel good, many tend to abuse it. They may overeat or become sex addicts. Any form of addiction is extremely harmful to health. For example, if your mindset is that you achieve happiness through material things, a new car or phone gives you the happiness you seek. Like other material things, you get busy with your fancy car or new phone if it will make you happy but only for a short time. This is called hedonic adaptation. This temporary happiness makes you chase after it, even if it lasts for only a short while. We all have a certain level of happiness. This can vary from person to person. Some people are naturally happy while others remain neutral. Your happiness level spikes when you do something that triggers your dopamine neurotransmitter. Let's revisit the example of buying a new car or phone. Buying a car or phone brings a spike in your happiness level, but eventually it returns to baseline. Does this mean you shouldn't chase happiness because it won't always stay at a higher level? Not at all. According to Sonia Lyubomirsky, author of The How of Happiness, happiness has a percentage. 50% of your happiness comes from your genes, 40% from internal factors, and only 10% from external factors like material things or getting a promotion. From these happiness percentages, we need to learn that being happy depends on you, not on what happens to you. True happiness comes from within. The nature of emotions. Handling your emotions can be tricky, especially when they are negative. You can't immediately control your anger or frustration, no matter how hard you try. However, it is possible to handle your emotions by understanding that they are temporary and will pass. For example, Penelope feels irritated because she woke up late. This means she has to rush through her shower, breakfast, and then hurry to work. This feeling of frustration doesn't go away quickly, even if she tells herself she should get over it. This method doesn't always work. Instead, Penelope can detach herself from her emotions. She can say, "Yes, I'm annoyed by how my day started, but this irritation will gradually fade and I will feel better." Emotions come and go. What you feel right now is not going to last forever. Negative emotions are not necessarily a bad thing. Don't consider them completely useless. Sometimes they encourage you to take action. The feeling of failure can push you to work harder next time. Losing someone dear can make you appreciate the people you still have in your life. If you are still struggling to deal with negative emotions, Remember the times when you experienced them in the past. You have faced challenging situations before and have come through them. No matter how bad you feel now, know that this feeling will pass. Another healthy way to deal with negative emotions is to remember that they do not define you. If you feel depressed, it does not mean you have depression. It also does not mean you are a failure. What you are feeling right now does not make you any less of a person. As a reminder, you need to actively maintain a positive attitude to stay happy. Have you heard the saying, "You attract what you think"? This applies to both positive and negative states. Imagine you're in a bad situation. You didn't pass the test you studied so hard for, and your scholarship application got rejected. These events make you focus on other areas of your life that are not going well. You might start thinking about your weight gain, feel like nobody likes you, and feel lonely and sad. It's easy to let negativity take over, but you need to free yourself from the grip of the dominant emotion. As mentioned before, when you feel a certain way, you need to be aware of that feeling. Constantly remind yourself that this feeling will soon pass. This will also help you track your emotions and understand what triggers them. Let's understand this with an example. Sophia realized that making mistakes makes her angry. She gets mad at herself for small mistakes. Sophia wrote this down and began to observe herself whenever she got angry. Often, she would also focus on other mistakes she made in the past. By thinking this way, Sophia would tell herself that she can never do anything right and that she is a loser. However, Sophia found a way to avoid this negative cycle. She reminded herself that she is human and that humans make mistakes. Sophia also reminded herself of her achievements to break the cycle of negative thoughts. Develop the habit of observing yourself. Identify what triggers your emotions, what you say to yourself during those times, what helped you get out of the negative cycle, and what you learned from it. Changing your interpretation. External factors are responsible for only 10% of your happiness. Examples of external factors include how much money you have or achieving certain life goals like getting married before 30. More specifically, these things are called assumptions. These assumptions, no matter how small, still impact you. That's why you need to look at these things from a different perspective. Here are some common beliefs. This is a problem. What if the problem you are currently facing is not actually a problem? Katie heard a rumor that she might be laid off from her job. Initially, she thought it would be a huge problem if that happened, but then she saw it as an opportunity to pursue her dream job. I should get married and have children. This expectation usually comes from parents and society. Just because people say you should doesn't mean you actually have to. Getting married and having children should be your choice, not something you do under pressure from others. I am scared of the future. Everyone is scared of the future because no one knows what it holds. But worrying too much about it doesn't help. Your worry about the future won't change anything. Instead, focus on the present. You can only do your best by paying attention to the present moment. Pay attention to how you interpret the things that happen to you. If you blame people or circumstances for your misfortunes, it's time to change this habit. You need to learn to take responsibility for your actions. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control your reaction. This will determine whether you stay happy or become sad. Letting go of your emotions. To be happy in life, don't keep your emotions bottled up inside. Anger, bitterness, and other negative emotions can mentally and emotionally damage you. We have discussed these things in previous chapters, and it's worth mentioning that they can also have physical manifestations. For instance, how do you feel when you are angry? Your heart rate increases, your palms get sweaty, you start feeling hot, and you can't concentrate on anything. Therefore, it is important not to keep your emotions bottled up. First, observe your emotions by detaching yourself from them. When Penny's boss corrected her work for the third time, she felt stupid. She thought she didn't deserve the job and position she held. It was normal for Penny to feel stupid, but she decided to detach herself from this feeling. She thought, I feel stupid, but I am not stupid. There is a big difference between identifying with the emotion and viewing the emotion as something separate from yourself. Penny also stopped feeding herself negative thoughts. Normally, Penny would recall moments when she felt stupid, which made her feel even worse about herself. So she decided not to amplify her feeling of stupidity. Second, label your emotions. Think of emotions as something temporary, like wearing clothes that you can change. Emotions do not define you. To change your perspective on emotions, refer back to what Penny did. Instead of thinking, I am sad, phrase it differently like, I feel sad, or I am experiencing sadness. This will create some distance between you and your emotion, making it easier to let go of them. Third, don't hold on to your emotions. Let them go. Understand that there are two reasons why you become dependent on your emotions. One, it reinforces the story or narrative you tell yourself. When you feel sad, you tend to make yourself feel even sadder. Unfortunately, people often have a tendency to hurt themselves emotionally. Two, you think you are your emotions. But you know that this is not true. You will stay troubled until you stop identifying yourself with your feelings. Emily felt incomplete compared to her friends and colleagues. She considered herself a loser. They were achieving so many personal milestones that Emily started feeling jealous of them. So Emily created a to-do list of daily goals. She needed to feel proud of herself. She removed the goals from her list that were impossible to achieve in a day. For instance, Emily wrote that she would jog for an hour to improve her health. But successfully jogging for an hour requires daily practice and training your body. Failing to achieve this goal made Emily feel worthless. Thinking she was incompetent made Emily feel even worse. That's why she gradually decided to let go of her feelings. It was wrong to think she was incapable. Emily changed her daily goals to be achievable and no longer felt stressed. Most importantly, achieving her milestones gradually boosted Emily's confidence. Fourth, learn the Sedona method to let go of your emotions. The Sedona method is a concept from Hale Dwoskin's book. It helps you release emotions in 3 different ways. The first way is not to hold on to your emotions. Never hold on to negative emotions. Let them go. The second way is to make space for those emotions in your life. By doing this, you accept what you are feeling without clinging to it or letting it define you. Just let them come. The third way is to welcome them. This involves accepting your emotions without judgment. By closely observing them, you can understand where these emotions are coming from. According to the Sedona method, you can apply these 5 steps to let go of your emotions. Focus on a specific emotion you want to work on. It doesn't have to be a strong emotion. It can be something simple, like feeling irritated while waiting in a long line. Ask yourself the following questions based on the approach you choose from the 3 methods mentioned above. For the first method, can I let this feeling go? Will I let this feeling go? For the second method, can I let this feeling be here? Will I let this feeling be here? For the third method, can I welcome this feeling? Will I welcome this feeling? Try to answer each question honestly and thoroughly. There are no right or wrong answers. It's just a way to understand what you are feeling and then let that feeling be. Ask yourself when. Your answer should always be now. You need to release this feeling. Don't make excuses. You must let it go no matter what. Repeat the entire process until the emotion you chose to focus on is gone. The Sedona method might sound so simple that you may doubt its effectiveness, right? But sometimes the simplest things can have the deepest impact on life. Even if you don't trust this process completely, you can still give it a try. Practice letting go of your emotions daily. Soon you will become the master of your emotions. How emotions can guide you in the right direction. Emotions come and go, but just because they are temporary doesn't mean they can't change your life. Nobody wants to feel uncomfortable or unhappy in life, right? But sometimes these feelings can be a sign. Emotions send you a message and you shouldn't ignore them. Let's take an example. Harriet was always stressed. Nothing made her happy. Neither her job, her relationships, nor her achievements. Then one day, Harriet decided to move to a new city. This was the best decision of Harriet's life. She looked forward to each new day and found happiness in the small things. Harriet had never been so happy before. Understanding your emotions requires self-awareness. If Harriet had ignored her feelings, she would never have made such an important decision in her life. She knew she needed to change something in her life. And if she had refused to acknowledge her unhappiness, this change would never have been possible. Self-awareness gives you the ability to observe your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This idea is taken from Jim Dethmer and Diana Chapman's book, The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. Self-awareness can be practiced using a single line. Whatever you think, feel, or behave, ask yourself if it is above the line or below the line. Being above the line means being self-aware of what you are doing. It means you are in a positive state of mind. If you are curious and consciously listening, you are above the line. You allow yourself to feel what you are feeling, appreciate things, and take responsibility for your actions. Being below the line means it is difficult for you to control your emotions. Here are some typical behaviors, actions, and feelings that indicate you are below the line. You continuously find faults in yourself and others, engage in arguments and gossip, and don't want your beliefs to be challenged. You start ignoring people whose opinions differ from yours. Whatever you do, first ask yourself, is this above the line or below the line? The answer will help you decide whether you should let go of your emotions. Recording your emotions. What is the purpose of recording your emotions? It is to give you an idea of how to experience more positive emotions. Before you do this, you need to be aware of your current emotional state. Observe the emotions you feel daily for a week. You can use a notebook or a piece of paper for this. Rate your feelings on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. At the end of each week, give it a total score. Additionally, you will need to answer these questions. What negative emotions did you feel? What was the cause of these feelings? Recall the experience of the negative emotion and what interpretation you derived from it. Was your interpretation accurate? How close was it to the facts of the situation? What did you do to stop feeling the negative emotion? Did it happen naturally or did you do something to release it? What can you do next time to avoid these negative emotions? By recording your emotions, you will achieve 2 things. First, you will be aware of them each week. This will help you maintain a positive mood or find ways to make yourself happy. Second, you can practice getting rid of negative emotions and staying happy. Conclusion. First, you learned about negative emotions. These are part of a survival mechanism that helped our ancestors stay alive, which is why you still have a negativity bias. You must actively fight this negativity bias because it prevents you from being happy. Your happiness depends on what you do and think, not on what happens to you. Second, you learn that emotions are temporary. You must remember this, especially when experiencing negative emotions. Remember, all bad things will pass soon, and you can overcome them. Third, you learned about changing your perspective to stay happy. Don't listen to the assumptions people make about you. For example, you don't need to get married and settle down unless you want to. Doing something you don't want to do will never bring you happiness. Fourth, you learn not to block your emotions. Detach yourself and observe your emotions. Label them and let them come. Fifth, you learned about self-awareness. Emotions can be a sign that you need to change something in your life. Think about every thought and action, whether it is above the line or below the line. Being above the line means it will benefit you, and being below the line means it could cause you distress. Sixth, you learned about recording your emotions. Keep track of what you feel so you can find ways to stay happy. Always remember that your emotions do not define you. They come and go. Good emotions come to bring you happiness, while bad emotions come to teach you something. You can use both to live a happy and fulfilling life. Thank you for listening to this audiobook summary of Master Your Emotions. We hope this summary has given you useful insights and tools to help you understand and manage your feelings better. Remember, taking control of your emotions is a powerful step towards living a happier and more fulfilling life. If you found these insights valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Your feedback helps us grow and continue to bring you great content. Subscribe to our channel, Book Bites, for more helpful summaries and tips on personal development. Keep learning and growing, and remember to explore other book summaries on our channel. They're all designed to help you improve your life one book at a time. Until next time, keep turning the pages and enriching your life.